kicking for you like it's 9-3. You see, Rob impact the mic, keeping it real, G. Talk about relationships, money, and health. Dropping knowledge while I'm spitting it, that's a wealth.
Complex conversations, we break it down. Pop culture topics, we hold it down. Dive deep into society's complexities. Educate, entertain, never resting in complex
Context, where the truth unfolds. Analyzing life through stories untold. Rob impact, dropping knowledge every day.
Unpacking life's complexities, one topic at a time. You're listening to Complex Context. Here is your host, Rob Impact.
A happy June to you, my complex crew. I am Rob Impact, and this is Complex Context. We unpack life's complexities one topic at a time, including topics like work life, parenting, pets, mental health, sports, anything you could think of. Glad that you're here with another episode coming at you. Hope your week has been a good one. My week has been super busy, all over the place. Maybe yours has been as well. Maybe you've had a week off. I hope you have, because I certainly haven't had it, and I could use it. But as long as one of us is getting some good extracurricular time in, I'm happy about that. We have quite a bit of topics and context to provide on multiple topics, so let's get into that, all right? I have realized today that I'm now at the age where air conditioning is only needed at very extreme temperatures. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm only in my early 40s. As far as I have anything to do with it, if I see things my way, I have plenty of life left to give and to go. And I just found myself today going, man, I don't want this air conditioner on. Now, we have the thermostat set at 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which seems like a more than reasonable temperature to keep things at. But for whatever reason, I have a thin hoodie on right now, and I'm not too sure why that is. I'm going a little cuckoo to figure out, like, is this just the time of my life where I become that guy and go, ooh, I'm cold no matter what. It's wintertime. I'm super cold. It's summertime. I'm kind of cold. Like, that to me is just kind of a weird vibe, a weird time in life to try and be okay with and come to terms with. And I'm not too sure I'm doing a good job yet. I'll see as time continues on how this plays out, but I know there's multiple factors at play why somebody would feel that way. I think I have probably most of them at play in terms of why I feel this way. So I'm looking forward to, believe it or not, warmer weather where I can step outside and not worry too much about being in a totally air-conditioned environment. I used to be the complete opposite, which is a strange thing. I would always say I can't stand hot weather, or especially hot and humid weather. I need air conditioning and would have no problem having a nice, cool environment. And for whatever reason, I'm sure anxiety changes in body as I get older have something to do with it. It sucks, though. It's not something that I feel I'm ready to just accept and make the best of. But I'm going to be that person anyways, wearing a zip-up hoodie at the beginning of June, because that's just where I'm at right now. Do you have that kind of thing going on for those similarly aged listeners who might be in their 40s or their 50s, and maybe you're going through something like this or have already gone through it? What's something that, as you have gone on in life, that you have found yourself kind of feeling or thinking the exact opposite of what you used to, say, 20 or so years ago, 20, 25 years ago? I would be very interested in hearing your opinion and your experience on just general changes like that. But yes, I'm in my early 40s and not a fan of air conditioning all of a sudden. Maybe not a fan of air conditioning so much as not a fan of its ever-present nature right now. I just wanted to put that out there. I feel like I needed to vent about where I'm at with that right now, because it's really not terribly hot out, but I seem to be the only one in my household that was like, hey, we don't really need the air on today, right? And I was told, oh, it's kind of hot out. And I went outside and I said to myself, nah, I really don't think it is hot out. That's, I guess, the complex nature of as you get older in life, you just feel different things that you weren't feeling before. Hey, I want to give thanks to the listenership of Complex Context. It's been awesome. Shout to everyone in the U.S. as well as internationally. The numbers just continue to grow, and we are on multiple outlets that offer podcast listening. If you have it, we are likely on it. And please, feel free to spread the word to your friends and family. That would be fantastic, because we want to grow a community here where we can all discuss things like a middle-aged guy struggling with air conditioning and if it's relatable or not, things of that nature. So I'll give you the information in a little bit. If you would like to contribute some feedback or maybe ideas for topics that we can discuss, we're more than happy to interact and take all of the questions and suggestions that we can. Do not hesitate. That information is coming up shortly. I've also found myself lately at the point of kind of an internal conflict with trying to be okay figuring myself out. And a lot of us, as we grow older, we kind of shy away from our younger frame of thought where we would say, oh, when I grow up, I want to be, and this is what I would like to study when I get older. And I still feel that way. Even though I feel established in the role and maybe the industry where I'm a part of. I don't know if that's being too pompous if I say that. I feel there's so much more creativity for me to be able to contribute. And there's a resource or resources for me to do it through, but I haven't really identified that yet. And that's a little bit of a crapshoot in terms of trying to see what's out there and not redundant or replicated in multiple different fashions that they all... Now, when I say this, and I'm kind of expanding upon this topic here, there are, with the existence of technology as it is, there are so many different outlets that everybody wants to put their own spin on. Everybody has an idea for their small business. Everybody has an idea for a social group. Everybody has an idea for a news thing. Everybody has an idea for a podcast. Hey, welcome to Complex Context. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of resources out there for people to express their creativity. And I think that's a fantastic thing to do. The problem with that is it's hard sometimes as you continue to get more and more growth from these resources, and everything kind of becomes this jungle of options. It's hard to weed through the options and find out what the best creative outlets are that people have put out there, or that people's creativity and efforts speak to others. And I'm kind of at that point where I feel like my creativity is at a peak, but not really able to mold it and funnel it into one specific creative resource or one specific idea. I don't know if that is considered a bad thing. I think it's good when somebody has a lot of recommendations and life experience to be able to contribute to something that they want to put out there for others to enjoy. But at the same time, I personally wouldn't want to do something that just gets lost in the shuffle of multiple options. Really, how many Facebook groups or Instagram threads or subreddits do we need about pretty much the same, let's say, 20 topics, right? So for someone like me that has had anxiety issues and been dealing with that, treating it for the past, I don't know, say 10 months, having it come back into my life. Thank you so much, anxiety. I can't thank you enough for that. Yes, there have been a plethora of resources for me to be able to rely upon, and I'm grateful in being able to have filtered down to the ones that really have made a difference and really have helped. But that was an effort, and a lot of that effort is due in part to the overabundance of people trying to contribute their own spin on something, which makes it difficult for some people to really get down to the nitty-gritty of finding the best creative and informative source to satisfy something like that. So for me, I have a lot of creativity in terms of music and audio production, and of course, this podcast is a creative outlet. It got to the point where I said I have to do it, because if I don't, I'm just going to continue to think about it and will probably regret not acting upon it. And that's no good. That wouldn't do me any good. So I finally bit the bullet and said, all right, we're going to do this. So yes, this is one creative resource for me, but it is not the only one that I have, nor is it the only one that I want to rely upon solely, not knowing as time goes on if this creative resource that is satisfying me is also hopefully satisfying people en masse. And that's my hope with this, is being able to provide this forum where we can have these discussions. This is a life thing. Creativity. How do we want to express ourselves and hopefully do it in a way that produces what our definition of success is, and be able to affect people in a positive way so that they want to participate, and maybe they would like to take the ball and expand upon it in their own fashion. I love doing digital art. I love writing. And writing, by that I mean, if I have to compose a document, or if I were asked to write a recommendation letter, I can do that. Depending on the subject matter at hand, the more relatable stuff and the topics that really speak to me, it's very effortless because I enjoy that creative freedom of expression through words and composition. So I would love to do more of that. But it's easier said than done, again, in terms of there is so much content and capabilities for many people to express themselves. How do you find your niche audience, or how do you find that perfect stride of creativity that speaks to other people, and now you're sharing your talents and you can expand upon that and roll with it? I find myself very conflicted lately, not knowing what the long-term possibilities of not only this podcast is, or I should say what the long-term possibilities are. Grammar, Rob, impact, grammar. What the long-term possibilities of this podcast are, or through any of my creative outlets, how, besides self-satisfaction, how can I turn that into an outlet that provides success, that I can make it something more of a life work rather than just a hobby? Do you ever feel like that? Do you feel like you're really into something, or you have so much to give on one or a few different topics or outlets, expressive outlets, that you're not really too sure long-term what your significant role is or what your place is in the whole grand scheme of other people kind of doing their own thing? I would be very interested to know about that. And the only way I'm going to find out from you is by providing you the information to get in touch with us. So yes, it's that time. If you would like to check out any episode of Complex Context. Beyond the preferred podcast means that you usually go to, you can always visit us on our homepage at complexcontext.podbean.com. That's complexcontext.podbean.com. We have all the episodes there. We have a little bit of show information. We also link to all of the resources that carry our podcast, and there's a ton of them. So it will link you directly to the page on your preferred podcast service. It's pretty cool. And we do have our contact information there in terms of social media and email, but just in case you would like it conveniently right here, you can always send us your emails with feedback, show suggestions, answer the questions that we're posing here. We would love to have your input and experience so we can continue discussions here. complexcontextshow@yahoo.com. We also are very unapologetic on our X account, the former Twitter. We have plenty of tweets. I guess if they're still called tweets, I don't know. You could say posts, I guess. If we're supposed to go beyond calling it Twitter now and just refer to it as X, what would your post be called? Because calling it tweets technically wouldn't be correct. I don't know. I would be interested, again, in your feedback. So send us an email, complexcontextshow@yahoo.com. Let me know about that. Or if you want to hit me up directly on X about it through a post, not a tweet, we are at Complex Context 1. You can also hit us up on Facebook. We have our page there at Complex Context 1 or facebook.com/Complex Context 1. The Facebook page is just getting going with growth. So we still post our episodes directly there, but we would like to expand our audience. So this is where your participation and your word of mouth was really going to be a huge factor in us growing. So do not hesitate. We would encourage it greatly, and we would like to have the opportunity to keep these discussions not just on the podcast, but also expand to additional content that goes beyond the show on our Facebook page. So facebook.com/complexcontext1. There was some interesting news about Amazon that I wanted to share. And generally speaking, there are a lot of things regarding retail and general transactions in business world that happens, which I think is important for a lot of us to maintain some degree of connectivity with, because unfortunately, in this United States of business that we're living in, at least where the show is originating from country-wise, there's so much that happens. You gotta really know what the factors that are of utmost importance or significance or of entertainment are. And we don't want you to have to watch all of those crazy networks or really have a report about a company and the fact that maybe they're having a 5% off sale. We don't care about that. So we're going to debut a new segment right now called Get Down to Business.
Get down to business, news so tight. Complex context shining light. From boardrooms to crazy heights. Business groove, it's out of sight.
Get Down to Business is a spot to provide you news and notes of the business world, which will help keep you informed. And our initial Get Down to Business offering involves Amazon. Oh, man, I know what you're thinking. What are you going to say? You're going to come down on them? No, not at all. Quite the opposite. It's crazy. I think this is fantastic for those who have an Amazon Prime membership. They initially, a while ago, were offering some trial memberships to Grubhub. Well, as time went on and they went and developed their relationship with Grubhub, Amazon now is offering all Prime subscription members a free membership permanently to Grubhub delivery service. Isn't that cool? I think that's awesome. Oh, man. So you don't have to pay for an additional Grubhub membership. It is just, boom, right there for you. And it's super easy to do. When you want to have this set up and link to your Amazon account, all you have to do is go to amazon.com Amazon.com/Grubhub. Now, if you can't remember that, I mean, geez, I can't help you, man. Amazon.com/Grubhub. And what it will do is it will take your Amazon Prime account and provide you a button where you can click on it and link that to a brand new Grubhub account. Once you have that taken care of, you can go to Grubhub. It will immediately take you there, but subsequently, it's setting up your Grubhub account. And there is a way for those who have an existing account to link it as well. So make sure that once you go to Amazon that you look for the proper prompts to set that up for those that have an existing Grubhub account. But for those like myself that did not, this will set it up once you go to the URL that I provided. And once you're there, you're looking at a bunch of places that are showing $0 delivery fees, baby. That's my kind of budget. And I think that's a fantastic option for Prime members because, yes, over the course of the past few years, it hasn't been a while, but Amazon Prime is certainly not the price that it used to be, say, 10 years ago. And Grubhub is definitely an option for those who live a busy life to be able to rely upon and not have to worry about incurring any more additional fees. I think that is great. So make sure that if you have an Amazon Prime account, or if you have an Amazon Prime account and an existing Grubhub account, that you go to Amazon.com/Grubhub and you link your Amazon Prime account to your existing or brand new Grubhub account. You will be getting deliveries in no time. I think that is an awesome, awesome option. And I hope to be trying it out relatively soon myself. I mean, I do need to wait and have a few extra bucks to order a meal here. You know, things are a little tight this week, but that's okay. That's okay. I've already done it. I've linked my personal Prime account. I'm looking forward to it, and I'd be interested in hearing how your experience goes. Please reach out using the communication methods that are available to you. We provided you the email, social media. Reach out, let us know how it is. Man, free Grubhub, that's what I'm talking about. I've mentioned our social media accounts a few times during this episode, and though I don't like to have it take over my attention, of course, it's an ever-present premise that a lot of us are involved with or have to encounter at some point through our relationships with friends and family. And there's one thing that's really caught my attention lately, and it's been probably not for the best reasons. Now, I get it. Social media, you want to talk to people, you want to strike up discussions, and that's the whole point of Complex Context. We want to discuss things that are really about the little things and especially the big things in life, and we want you to interact, right? Social media, for our purposes, is an extension of that. But when I see social media by itself and certain accounts that I don't even know if they're run by a human or if they're bot controlled, one constant that has just grown ridiculously is having a post where it's not even just text, it's a social media account making a JPEG out of a statement or a question. And it's usually one of the most simple, asinine questions that really, it's fun, but after a while, again, this is when we talk about getting in the weeds and so many people doing it, it has gotten so overcrowded with people doing this. JPEGs that ask the most ridiculous things or say the most ridiculous things, especially on X, a little bit on Facebook. So, for example, going to X, I have only so many accounts that I try and follow, and one of them is really, really nice, very science-related, but in a fun way. But for some reason, this particular account, I'm now suspect of having it bot-controlled because they have increased their posts with this JPEG statement/question crap so much, I'm almost on the cusp of unfollowing. Regardless of the great science content that they offer, I can't stand it. And these statements or questions aren't always science related either. So, for example, you could go to such an account and get drawn in, and all of a sudden you go back to whatever social media platform, and then there's a post with a JPEG that might say, what is the one color you would take out of a box of crayons that would never come back? And I go, oh, well, I guess this is something that we could discuss. Okay. Or you go to another social media account and they're posting, again, not text. It's usually this square JPEG with like some kind of lightly textured background and either all white or all black text. And it could be, if you had one pet that you would be able to keep the rest of your life, what kind of animal would it be? And tell me why you wouldn't name it Brad. These are the things that I've been coming across so much lately. And again, I get it. Social media, this is a chance for us to socialize, but why are we now seeing this plethora of accounts doing this? And especially considering the nature of these posts, it's very school groundish. It's like, hey, Jessica over there wanted to know how many people would like if she wore a pink shirt tomorrow instead of a purple shirt. Or it's like Charles over there at the lunch table sitting 2 tables down saying, I have 5 copies of the original Harry Potter, all from different publishing companies, and 4 of them were not even legitimate ones. How many different versions of the Harry Potter book first edition do you have? It's like one of those things where you're just socializing for comparison's sake, but without really any like substance to it. And sometimes, I'm not saying it shouldn't exist at all. I don't want to be like, oh, you're always going to get that one person. Oh, it must be real fun at parties. It's got nothing to do with that, for crying out loud. And I hate when people say that. Like, that's such an overused example. It must be real fun at parties. Let me tell you, I wouldn't go to 90% of parties that exist because people forgot how to throw a good party. Most of them suck anyways. So that aside, I get it. We're socializing. We're trying to interact with each other. And we're doing it with some kind of subject matter, but we're really at a point right now where these posts that do this, they're reaching. They are reaching, especially when they have no correlation to the nature of any other post previously, or if they're an entity, what their mission statement or their intent is. It's all over the place. Yeah, it's a short attention grab. It's kind of like, oh, hey, like, here's a simple question. Yeah, but a simple question will yield a simple answer. And what are we really learning about ourselves? Are we really discussing anything positively where we have so many different participants that we're going to avoid a mass cloud of criticism that ends up steering the ship? You know that that's where it's going to go to, because most people are on there looking to critique and to shoot down opinions anyways. And it's just, when you have simple questions like that, it just opens people up to more criticism, unfortunately, and with very little payoff for innocent responses. So the fact that these things are posed on JPEGs tells me that even the poster understands that there's no real substance behind this, other than trying to get quick likes and quick replies to shoot up their numbers. That's great, I guess, from a visibility standpoint, but from a true interaction standpoint and feel good and appreciation, I guess, for finding such a post, you wouldn't have to do that if your plain text had enough oomph and significance behind it that you would want people to organically interact with it anyways. Doing the whole JPEG question or statement thing where it's like, hey guys, how about this? Just conveys that you really are waving a huge flag of attention because you know that the post in itself doesn't really have enough weight to warrant a major discussion or expect a really good banter to begin with. So can we all agree to stop giving these posters the attention that they're seeking so that they can float their numbers up to the top, which is really what the main concern is. It's not about my happiness or my being able to make a new friend with someone on the internet because they have the same outlook as me. Like, I'm not going to see a post about what's the best ice cream flavor and now strike up a brand new relationship with someone because the guy in Pennsylvania said he loves chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream as much as I do. It just doesn't work out that way. I don't know if I'm reading too much into social media and its intent. I'm just saying, for those JPEG posts, please stop. This is Complex Context. I'm Rob Impact, and I want to give some shout-outs. Shout going out to Steve. It was good to see you for a hot second. I hope I see you for a little bit longer of a period of time coming up, but good to see you looking good. Hope the job has been treating you well. I would really like to see how it's been since I last got to talk to you about it. A shout going out to my beautiful wife who had quite a bit of fun. I'm sorry, if you heard a little noise in the background, that was my stomach. I'm recording this during a time where I probably should have had lunch like a half hour ago, so please excuse me. Again, I could take that out, and I have no problem doing so, but let's keep it real life, all right, folks? Every one of us gets a grumbly belly every now and then. A shout going out to my beautiful wife that had a great time with her friends last night. I was so glad that she had time to relax, have some fun, go out, get some beverages with some good friends. That's super important because she does so much for our household. So she has just been awesome as usual. And yeah, shout going out to my daughter. We had some great daddy-daughter time yesterday. She's been busy, having a lot of social time, making the most of summer, and trying out for a super cool dance team. Fingers are crossed that she advances, and if not, that's okay. She's still going to be dancing her heart out anyways. We were in the driveway after having come home from daddy-daughter time, and we were both in the car still jamming out to Jack Harlow, and we were just, it was awesome. Being able to do that, be a little fun and unpredictable, and just organically enjoy the moment over a song, upbeat, fun. That's really where my life, or where my preference for life is right now. And I would hope yours is the same. Big shout out to my daughter. Also shout going out to Johnny, who tried a beverage that I gave him a few days ago. And it might be something that is on a future Flavor to Savor. I don't want to give the details away right now, but I enjoy his opinion about flavors and trying out various products like I like to do. He's been kind of doing his own Tim the Toolman Taylor repair on his hot water tank recently and was successful at it. And I appreciate anybody similar to myself where you have these things come up and without formal training and just a little bit of self-education and time and patience and trying to access the proper resources, the guy got his thing all fixed. I was so proud of him. I was like, so if this ever gives on my water tank, what you're saying is I can call you. And he laughed. I'm more of an electrical guy. I prefer that. Plumbing, not so much. So shout out going out to Johnny, and shout going out to owner who had a vacation and came back engaged, which was awesome. I'm very proud of him and super happy for him and his fiance. They've been together for quite a while, and I wish nothing but success and hopefully as stress-free of a planning stage for your future wedding as possible. I don't know if I'm asking for the impossible, but I'm still going to give you those vibes and those hopes anyways. He's a super solid guy. I've been very blessed to be working with him for many years, and he's got a good one. Great people. Much love to you, owner. Finally, after the release of a particular song, I couldn't help but get caught in the internet.
Caught in the internet, debatable views. Get ready now, we got the news. Scrolling through the comments, feeling the hype. Opinions clashing, sparks ignite. From conspiracy theories to viral trends, we dive deep where the internet transcends. Complex context.
Caught in the internet is where we take a look at something posted on the internet which is worded in a way that sparks debate or criticism. And we're going to talk about Eminem's new song, Houdini, which is off of his upcoming album, The Death of Slim Shady. Now, not everybody is a hip-hop head. I get it. The thing these days is country. But what's country is really pop country. It's not country. And I'm not saying that genres can't progress over time, but I know country is like the quote-unquote cool thing. Hip-hop has really taken a back seat, I would say, over the past 10 years minimally, with a lot of the mumble rap that has come out. It's really devolved into just something not enjoyable. So to have a hip-hop staple like Eminem come out with a song that really not only takes his current, older, more mature self, but mixes it with a hybrid of his younger, more out there, raw and straight to the point self, I thought this song was just unbelievable. Again, it's called Houdini. If you haven't heard it, give it a shot. It opened at number 4 on Spotify and was number 1 on YouTube's trending music videos chart. Also, the day of release, it got to number 1 on iTunes. I mean, wow. There's a music video for it too, so in case you couldn't figure out based off of the YouTube trending music video chart, go check that out. The video is just as hilarious and just as cool as some of his older work and incorporates a lot of characteristics of past music videos. I don't want to tell you too much because it's really just worth taking a listen and a watch and getting back to me with what you think. Now, after that, in wanting to just look at the celebration of him contributing to a genre that really needs actual hip-hop, yes, you have the naysayers and the people ready to critique. Quote, he's a 60-year-old man making fun of a 29-year-old, end quote. No, you overshot it there. He's not 60, he's 51, but okay, whatever. Another quote I saw, quote, he's too old to rap, end quote. Now imagine being so good at your craft, not just when you were younger, but in modern day, that you elicit the naysayers no less than what you used to do. But you have it now to the point where it's not just criticizing your craft and your content, but criticizing your age? Really? Because he's 51? So what? You're coming from a viewpoint where people would like to hold 15 to 20-year-olds in high regards because they spend their day creating content nonstop and somehow attracting people, enough people, to have them use this as a viable resource where their content really consists of nothing of grand significance, just kind of mediocre at best. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I'm saying, what talent has been really shown? And what prerequisites of, I guess, I don't know, growing your audience or growing yourself have been set for you to make such a criticism on somebody that went through the hip-hop genre and the notoriety from the bottom up, the legitimate bottom up? I could only hope to reach a % of success that Eminem has, and doing it in a way that really shows, all right, we're going to start humbly and show our talents and continue to contribute for as long as we need to until we have enough respect from others to say, okay, you got something there. Now, am I supposed to give that same respect to somebody that somehow has such a high social network that they just have it in the bag. They can network their way up to great numbers. And supposedly, that's where a lot of the, I guess, quote-unquote, success lies, is in your numbers. Numbers do not equal talent. Quote me on that. Numbers do not equal talent. Now, yes, in the case of this song, the numbers do equal talent, because way before this, and before the Spotifys and the iTunes and all that, Eminem made a living out of working his way up and expressing his talents in a way that was just groundbreaking for the time. And in large part still is, because you don't have that depth of talent available these days, at least outwardly being promoted. So when you have someone that has the life experience and the receipts to talk about it, how are you supposed to be able to take criticism seriously from somebody whose bottom up is, well, I had 250 friends and decided to make a video, and all their friends let them know that my videos were out there, and cool, you're a really good networker. Where's the talent? Networking does not equal talent. And a lot of this criticism that was received is going after someone for his age. If we want to be in a society that treats people equally, it doesn't stop at just ethnic differences or financial differences. There is age discrimination, and I'm not trying to say that this is it, but when you bring that into the conversation, I've already lost any respect or any interest in what you have to say, because you've made it about age and not about the talent, the ground up talent that has been established and is now hitting you in the face again. So I was very disappointed in seeing that people have that attitude. Listen, I would rather work alongside a super talented and really dedicated 51-year-old than a more vibrant and energetic 21-year-old. And it has nothing to do with whether they've had enough time to build from the ground up. It has to do with, does the 51-year-old have as much, if not more, talent relative to their age than the 21-year-old does? And there are going to be times where it is complete opposite. If a 21-year-old has much more ground-up efforts and desirability in accomplishing something than the 51-year-old, okay, that's fine. Essentially, the number is irrelevant. It really is. It's what are you bringing to the table, and how does it affect either the goal or what you're hoping to accomplish? So for those who want to be naysayers or critique Eminem's success with his latest song, Houdini, again, to be on the upcoming Death of Slim Shady album, I'm rubbing my hands. I can't wait. I have a friend who's been waiting for Slim Shady to return for years, and it's finally happened. All I could say is, if that's the basis of your argument, you have no argument. That's it. That's how I got caught in the internet. To my Complex crew, I want to thank you so much for your time and your energy and your good vibes. I hope that your upcoming week is as good as I would hope mine is. I know I have a lot of things on the schedule, and we all have to take a step back and realize that looking out for ourselves and our health and our happiness comes first. It really does come first, because we have one shot at this, and if we are not going to be our biggest champion, then nobody else will. So make sure that your week is full of goodness. Take a moment, say, hi, neighbor, how are you? Don't hesitate to reach out. I would absolutely encourage you to. ComplexContextShow@yahoo.com, at ComplexContext1 on X/Twitter, I guess. I don't know. And Facebook.com/ facebook.com/complexcontext1. We would love to build a community there, so please like and follow our Facebook page. Let's get that going. Thanks again. My name is Rob Impact. Do what you do it often, do it well. Just don't do anything I wouldn't do, and you'll be doing all right. Until I'm back here with you, take care.
Visit the show's website at complexcontext.podbean.com. Complex Context is a Mass Ed Media production.